Welcome to Newslaundry Interviews. Today we have with us journalist and author Snigdha Poonam, who's out with a new book, Scamlands, Inside the Asian Empire of Fraud That Preys on the World. Welcome, Snigdha. There couldn't have been a better time than today to come out with this book because we're obsessed with scams. Every day, morning newspaper, there's some or the other headline about somebody getting scammed. We're curious about these people.
For each of us, there is a soulmate in the scam world. So think of them as your scam soulmate. Except it's a soulmate that you don't want to meet. But sooner or later, they will find you. And how it works is that, each of us has a vulnerability that we may not be aware of, but will become clear to us once we get close to being scammed. And so I realized that...
What drew you to the world of scams? Why did you think that you wanted to explore this world?
Thousands and thousands of people were joining these call centers on the outskirts of Delhi, Gurgaon, Bangalore, anywhere where you have like a sort of tech ecosystem to work as salaried employees at call centers where they called up, where they rang up people across the Western world selling things that did not exist. आपका कंप्यूटर में वायरस है, आपने US गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स नहीं दिया है, आपने His Majesty and Customs का कुछ आपने का रेगुलेशन ब्रेक किया है. And these were people hardly 19, 20 years old, and they would get trained very easily. And I could see that once they were in this system, they could not leave. And I just could not leave this world once I had discovered it. I tried to become a scammer. I've tried to become a scammer in many of the instances. I've tried to get to know people who have called me to scam me. I've also sort of met them as a writer, wanting to know their stories. And so all of those experiences, like my immersive journey in this underworld of scams and fraud became the basis for this book.
In fact, there's quite a few interesting characters that you meet. But the central question you're answering is an economic one. That what happens when opportunities dry out, and for a lot of and aspirations are only doubling up, because like you said, it's not just ambition, but it's also your access and awareness. You're now aware of so many things that you can have but you'll never get. And where are the opportunities for a lot of young people? There aren't any, and this becomes like an easy way to kind of earn your quick buck and get out. So before we get to the economic part of it, I wanted to just, like, as a journalist, when you're journeying into this kind of space, like I said in the beginning, it is currently the most fascinating thing that we're obsessed with. We want to know how people are getting scammed, who the guy is doing it. And there is a certain awe that you have of these people, because unlike a murder, this is a crime where there's no violence. I mean, there's no, physical harm. So you can at times be amused or amazed by the lengths to which they go to scam people. Like, I don't know if you read this headline about this Ghaziabad embassy. This guy who in Ghaziabad set up a fake embassy to many countries, including my favorite country, Ladonia. And he was giving visas.
I had no idea.
So you're amazed by the fact that, wow, like ingenuity to hai, itna soch rahe hain. So as a journalist, before you set out to like journey into this land and essentially look at the economics of it, how did you protect yourself from being too awed by this? And were you, like, through the course of your, interactions with these guys?
Yes, I was.
Through the book, this comes out quite often, like when you're visiting these, rural parts of India, it's very normalized. Like you said, like it takes a village to scam someone sort of a situation where everyone's involved, everyone knows. Tell me about this space. Like, is it normalized? Is it accepted? Is there a shame associated with it?
In large pockets of rural India now, you have entire villages where the young men only do this.
Okay.
Earlier, they went to the construction sites in the cities, and some of them still do. Many of them perhaps still do. But it's become common for them to switch back and forth. कोई कंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए गया है, फिर वापस आता है फार्मिंग सीजन में लिए, तो फिर वापस वो जाता नहीं है. फॉर दैट सीजन दे विल स्टे एंड दे विल जॉइन द लोकल नेटवर्क्स, क्योंकि हर कोई वही कर रहा है. हर घर के पीछे जो पॉन्ड होते हैं, जो फार्म्स होते हैं, खेत खलिहान, वहाँ पे लड़के जाते हैं साथ में. सो इट जस्ट बिकम्स लाइक अ communal activity. So you don't have to think that much. Do I want to be a scammer? Am I crossing a moral boundary? What are the consequences for the victims? ये सब सवाल उठते ही नहीं है इसके पहले कि आप दोस्त के साथ बाइक चला के चले गए कहीं पे और आपको एक फ़ोन पकड़ा दिया गया, and so they are in it before they know it. And once you've scammed someone, as Jitu tells me, Jitu is one of my primary characters from this world. He's a chief scammer in a village in Santhal Pargana. And he tells me 10,000 एक दिन में बनाना मेरे लिए इतना आसान है जितना कि मेरे लिए सेंटेंस आपको बोलना है. Jitu doesn't use this exact framing, but he's basically trying to tell me that India globalized by leaving 3/4 of his people, perhaps more, behind. And it's not like they are not watching. They are seeing, they have seen some of us make that journey. And like when mobile phones came into their life, that's for the first time that they could see that they could be a part of that narrative of globalization. So in one of the villages, someone tells me कि वो 1991 रिफॉर्म्स वगैरह का तो पता नहीं है, पर जब 2005-6 के अराउंड मोबाइल फोन्स आए, दैट्स व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड to see things change visibly, tangibly. So mobile phones and not Modi became the miracle. And Jitu takes me through the India's journey step by step. He said 2014 aaya, and then we had like this massive wave of digitalization, UPI and digital wallets, and you know, your online banking and e-commerce. And he's saying with each and every step in this journey towards digitalization, we kept inserting ourselves.
That's why I was quite interested. Somebody was telling me there are like proper appraisals.
Yeah.
And
they are proper. I saw a woman who was my boss briefly in this world of romance scams.
Yeah, you start working for this Chinese. I mean, it's a.
I mean, she started as like a normal sort of a very entry-level employee for one of these fake dating apps, where her job was just to be on these apps which are downloaded by many more people than Tinder and Bumble
Tinder
are.
and all, yeah. This is like the gap that Tinder and all leave. That's for the cities, but these are like rural India, smaller towns.
They call it tier 3, 4
tier
and 5.
3, yeah.
And her job was initially simply to make these calls and have these romantic, erotic conversations with men. But like within months, I see her becoming a manager and then managing so many women under her. And then she came to a point where she was in a position of power such that she could negotiate directly with a company in Shanghai or Beijing that was starting a new fake dating app for India.
What she's doing, this lady that you meet, and she, you know, you introduce her as she's put on a Scarlett Johansson ka image and she's changed her name and she's chatting up men. Is it really a scam? It's just a dream you're selling to guys. Like people also know ki ye nahi hai Scarlett Johansson and I'm probably talking to a guy on the other side. But everyone wants to buy into that. So I'm wondering, like, does this fit into the scam space? Because she's essentially just selling a dream.
In the Chinese society, they have a concept of pig fattening. वो Chinese New Year के पहले होता है. 2-3 महीने से वो पहले pig को fatten करते हैं. And then there's fattening and then there's the butchering. And so they do the same with the victims. When you know, you might get a message saying, Manisha, are you coming to work today? And then you might say, or no, sorry, not Manisha. They'll say, oh, Carol, are you coming to work today? And you will say, I'm not Carol. And then they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I contacted you by mistake, but how's your day going? And if you're an only woman looking for an encounter, you will also enter the conversation. And so then it's so for the next 3 months, someone who's been given a very sophisticated script, spanning morning, day, sort of morning, afternoon, evening, night, ka pura likha hua, with emojis even. कब emojis देने, कब उनको उनसे withdraw भी करना है.
It's actually taken a very dark turn because like from those bunch of boys getting together under a tree in a village doing these pin code wala ya OTP wale scams. Now you have people who've been trafficked to places in Cambodia. There are these large enterprises and people are being scammed to run scam centers, and that's happened a lot in India where you've had some rescues also.
I've been to those places in Cambodia. It's like a Silicon Valley level infrastructure of, you know, mobile phone towers and cryptocurrency exchanges and money laundering systems, and they have built these compounds with barbed wires, and they are these enormous buildings. And once you enter these buildings, they take your passport away, and you can't leave. And if you don't show up to work on your shift, चाहे तुम्हारी shift India वाली हो, digital arrest वाली हो, या फिर तुम, you know, you're impersonating a Russian influencer and scamming some 45-year-old guy in Australia. If you don't show up to work, then you are beaten, you're tortured, you're starved, you're put in solitary confinement, you're put in water jail,